Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. I say the things on here that nobody dare say. Can I give a big shout out to our sponsors, Human Nutrients? They are pinned up in the comment section at the top of the comments. Go and have a little nosy on there. Let me know what you think to the website. Health is wealth. Go and treat yourself. All right. Right. It's been a sad day for boxing on it today. Ricky Hatton's funeral today. Thousands lined the street, which is very good, isn't it? Nice of people to turn out. Uh, I want to have a look at Ricky Hatton's career, but well done to Adam Smith for speaking very elegantly at Ricky's funeral. Uh, I'm not going to sit here and stick it to anybody at something like that, but well done. Only thing I was a bit disappointed about with Adam's speech where he never really mentioned Dennis Hobson, my former boss. It was Dennis that signed Ricky after the Costa Zoo win. He left Bricktop and he went with Dennis. He had Dennis for four fights and he had a fight in Sheffield and one in Boston, and then they broke Vegas, didn't they? So I'm a bit disappointed not to hear that. Maybe he forgot, I don't know. But he did mention Frank Warren, but them fans over there and that were following Ricky and the band that were walking around Sheffield, there's only one Ricky Hatton beating the drum. They were Dennis's friends from Sheffield, the band, and they were beating the drum and they let the presence be known. I was shocked that Dennis never got a mention there and they hadn't had any interviews and that because there's a lot of people dining out on the back of all this. I'm not going to go into detail, but I just thought it were, I don't know, maybe it were a mistake. Maybe he forgot, or I don't know. The Talk Sport didn't mention it or anything. But like I said, it were Dennis that signed him for them four fights. He was going to sign with Barry Hearn, but this is on my channel in an interview with Dennis years ago. And Dennis rung him up. He said, "Where are you?" Ricky were with his dad. He said, "I'm going to sign with Barry Hearn." Dennis says, "Turn round, I've got 300 grand here in a carrier bag for you. Just put them on hold for 24 hours and sign with me." And that's how he signed. And I don't think Dennis is getting his flowers really, but Dennis don't won't be all that bothered. I don't think his ego's that big. But it's a sad time for Ricky Hatton's family. But let's look at his career and what he achieved. Now, he's up there with British greats. He's already a Hall of Famer. But if you look at the top guys and who they beat. I always look at who they beat and how many wins they had over world champions, former, current, and future. Now, when I look at this list here that I've got here, Floyd Mayweather 20, Muhammad Ali 16, but in a one belt era, or you could say two belt era, but the belts were more or less always together, weren't they? WBC and WBA. WBC and WBA were very rare that they were parted. Odd time they were, but Muhammad Ali in that era, 16 wins over champions from 64 up to 1980. So fantastic career. Lennox Lewis 14, Froch Calzaghe Amir Khan 11, Mike Tyson 10, Ricky Hatton 8. So he had a great career, didn't he? And then if you want to compare that to today's guys, it's night and day, isn't it? David A 6, Anthony Joshua 6, Tyson Fury 4. Tyson Fury, the GOAT, got four wins over champions. Steve Cunningham, an old man. Vladimir, an old man. Two over Wilder. That's your lot. But Tyson tells us he's a GOAT. Well, Ricky's got double that. So he's a legend. So I think it's a shame what has happened. Uh, so there you go. So may he rest in peace. Uh, Fury Joshua. Has it died a death now, Russell? Asks Jonathan. Well, what I've noticed when the promoters, Bricktop and Hills, they put anything out now about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, I know what to go and look at straight away, and so do people that advise me. there's not as much traction as there were 4 or 5 years ago, is there? So have they killed it themselves? That's what I want to know. I always keep banging on about it. I always say it's overcooked. Denny's always used to say to me, Kell Brook Amir Khan's overcooked. And it were, wasn't it? It was a bit like Ricky Hatton, Junior Witter. That should have happened, but in end, when it looked like we were going to do it, that were nearly overcooked, wasn't it? Froch Calzaghe weren't overcooked. They just couldn't get to first base, could they? But Fury Joshua, pair of them are looking at 300 million in wealth, and they've not fought yet. So if they do fight, they could be looking at a couple 100 million apiece, couldn't they? But is it overcooked? I think it is. And I think the general public have said, you know what? They're not really bothered about us boxing fans. That's how I look at it. So, Porky, what do you think to Jake Paul versus Tank Davis exhibition? What's your take on this and the Jake Paul takeover? I think Jake Paul is a very good marketing person. This is speaking professionally and not trying to be Mr. Funny Man all the time and or rip anybody or rinse him. I think he's a very good marketing guy, very good at social media. He's got the following. They know how to work all the buttons on their computers, a bit more than dummies like me. And that's all I think it is. Do I think he's a good fighter? Well, I don't think Tommy Fury's any good. And Tommy Fury beat him comfortably, didn't he? So I don't think Tommy Fury wins an area belt at light heavyweight, cruiserweight, or heavyweight. So that's where Jake Paul's at. And I think if him and Tank was a genuine proper fight, I think Tank would smash him to pieces. We being an exhibition, I think it'll just be a fanny bout. Bit like Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, where they plotted to get the money because pair of them had money problems. So that's how I look at it. So, okie dokie. Uh, the Rhino show at the weekend. What do I think to that? Well, I've got Dave to win in my bet, but I think Mac Midoff beats him. I do. I think he beats him on points. That's just my opinion. People can say, he's from the same postcode as you, DN12. Yeah, but I'm just telling you straight. I'm not going to be like people like Dominic Ingle who would love to train David Allen. He'd love to train David Allen again, Dominic Ingle. Of course he would. But when you're charging people for a plane ticket to go to Fuerteventura, like he did David, and David never went, he was trained by Junior Witter and he stayed in UK. When you're doing that, you're never going to get to work with David again. So that's how Dominic blew it. But Dominic didn't want to come out and talk about that, do you, Dominic? So it is what it is, isn't it? So. That's why he won't. That's why David won't be training with him again. Yeah, they can say they like each other, this and that, and blah blah blah. Dominic would like to get it mixed with him again, but no, that boat's gone. So, and that's where Dominic lets himself down in it. Really, it's like that flat in it when he's got all them fighters in that flat, renting them out and that. Him going around and cooking the food, and then give him an invoice for it when they've had the fight. So there you go. Dominic's about pound notes, and that's why he's got no fighters. So, but nobody's saying he ain't a good trainer. Look what he did with Kell Brook, but Dominic's about money. But what I want to know is when Dominic Ingle, aka Flex, when's he going to put a show on? There's plenty to say about promoting. When you going to put a show on, Flex? Put your hand in your pocket, like people like Dennis have and other people for years. You get your hand in your pocket, Dominic. All right. Hey ho. Friday, October 17th, your call. Kieran Conway against George Lidard for middleweight British and Commonwealth titles. That's a good fight. And then on undercard, you've got Jimmy Sains against Troy Coleman for vacant English middleweight title. So that's not a bad show, That's put on by Eddie Hearn, aka Eddie Hills. That's not bad. Well, the top two fights aren't bad, but what happened to Eddie when he said, every show we put on, we're going to put a world title fight on? hasn't happened, has it? Hasn't happened. So is what it is. Today's the 10th of October. It's World Mental Health Day. So I'm expecting Tyson Fury to come out with the World Mental Health people and do something. He's always banging on about it, isn't he? So I'll look forward to seeing that later on if I can find it. I've been looking today for something from him, but I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it might have slipped his mind. I don't know. Then we've got a Bricktop show, matched by Steve Furness. Not a bad matchmaker, Steve. Saturday, the 1st of November. Oh, the matchroom one were matched by Tom Dallas, aka the Plank of Wood. But the Bricktop show, what do I think to that one? He's got a European title fight, Lyndon Arthur, light heavyweight, against Bradley Rhea. That's not a bad fight. Joshua Boatsi for a WBO light heavyweight international fight against Zach Parker. Boatsi will run over Zach Parker there, and hopefully they'll put Arthur and Boatsi in together for European, because that's how it looks like they're going to push for that. Then you've got Liam Cameron against Troy Jones. They're like journeymen now, aren't they? Them. Rest of it looks like absolute load of old pony macaroni. Khalid Majid against David Ryan. Billy Dennis against Arenyenka. Stephen Clark against TBA. Leighton Birchall against Wilbert Panthin. Luke Pryor against Sanchez. Vary against Vargas. Bradley Casey against TBA. Leon Hughes against TBA. A few TBAs in there. But it is what it is. Somebody's just told me Simon. Tommy Fury's coming back. He's been telling people in Manchester today. So I wonder if Tommy's had a few beers after the funeral today, because no doubt he'd have been there, wouldn't he? They love uh, getting it mixed, don't they? So Tommy Fury, might was trained by Ricky Hatton, wanted for one fight, and then they let Ricky go, didn't they? But maybe Tommy's getting a bit excited because he's around boxing people, but he's coming back and he's taking it very seriously. So let's see. He's already got a win over Jake Paul. Let's see Tommy in a eliminator for a cruiserweight title. Does Tommy Fury win a cruiserweight title in the UK area level? I say no. So okie dokie. Uh, Jonathan again asking me, would Terence Crawford beat Andre Ward at £168? No, I don't think he would. I think Andre Ward's got an horrible style. He's out of range a lot, and when he's up close, he's mauling you, hugging you, and all that nonsense. So no, I don't think he would beat Andre Ward. I think Andre Ward beats him. I think Terence Crawford. I'd like to see him go to middleweight and clean up there. I think it'd be a very easy division for him to clean up at. And there you go. And that's about it, really. All right. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And leave me a comment. I've got Aaron on it morning, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. We're going to have a good old natter. And then that is about it. All right. Go on, pop, pop, bang. If anybody gets bored watching Porky's Corner, I have another channel, Porky's International YouTube. All right. The sponsors are pinned in the comments section. Don't forget to go and have a look. Who knows? You might want to treat yourself. Well, peace out. Jimmy Norton, if you want to email me, it's porkycorner@mail.com. There you go. I've lost your number. All right. Booyaka.